I want to give you my thoughts on the Raja Jackson situation. Um, I I honestly didn't want to comment on this particular topic because there's so many people who have an opinion about what is happening right now in this particular situation, and a part of me was like, you know what? Let other people actually have their say, right? But obviously, I have an MMA channel, so 18,000 subscribers. That's kind of crazy, by the way. 400,000 monthly views. So I felt like I might need to have some type of an opinion, especially considering the fact that I am a law graduate in South Africa, and I work at a law firm. So here's my take on this particular situation, right? So to be specific, F. Chase Hooper can't believe there is people defending that crash out. You know what? I hear what you're saying, my guy. Um, that's why I decided to do the live stream. To be honest, I don't have an oppose or rather a strong opinion. For lack of a better word, I don't think I have like a solidly strong opinion about the whole incident. But with the context that I have, right? Okay, let me just in case for whatever reason someone has been living under a rock. Obviously, this wrestler hit Roger Jackson with a can over his head. The guy obviously seemed like he was drunk. He eventually apologized, and he apologized I think 3 times, and then it seemed like everything was cool. But I think Roger Jackson allowed himself to be riled up by his live chat, which is one of the craziest things ever. If you're going to be online, you need a lot of, or rather, a high level of like, emotional intelligence and intelligence in general, because you will encounter trolls. You will encounter a variety of people. I mean, it's the internet. You are amplifying, especially for example, with me getting like 400,000 monthly views and 18,000 subscribers. It would be insane for me to not anticipate that I'm going to get people who hate me, to get people who are going to call me racist. So I can't react to everything. So for the fact that this guy was a live streamer, it's kind of insane to me that he allowed himself. It's like me right now reading your comments and someone saying "f your mom," like all these things, and then I get angry, and then I go to where they live and shoot them. Like it doesn't really make sense. So I think one of the most important, the most lacking things about this particular dude is that clearly the guy does not have a lot of emotional intelligence. That's number one. But let's continue with the story. So he keeps on reading his live chat. Side note, the other thing that I felt like, apart from his live chat, that amplified or that probably made the whole situation worse was that I'm not sure if people are aware. A couple of days before that incident, Roger Jackson was basically nearly knocked out in training, and according to them, they were just sparring, and the guy just wanted maybe to have a moment on camera, similar to what Aljamain Sterling was describing about Raul Rosas Jr. So I think the humiliation of that, combined with the fact that this guy out of nowhere just hits him over the head with a can, I think, and obviously the live chat amplifying that. I think probably to some extent you have to look at it from those particular incidents that took place. He got humiliated in gym. He let it go, didn't do anything about it. And then, unprovoked, this guy just hits him over the head with a can. And then we get to the part where he gets into the ring, obviously, nearly murders the dude. I mean, there's no other way to put it. So, background information. It seems like the promotion had a planned appearance by Roger Jackson, which is kind of crazy to me, especially considering number one the fact that you know that this guy just came off of a situation where he was almost knocked out. Maybe obviously you can argue that, well, the guy wasn't going to be doing anything hectic in the ring, so there's no reason for him to not actually participate in all of this, right? But the issue is that after that, this guy got into an altercation with this particular person. However, there were employees that it seems like there are employees who don't like this dude who actually almost got killed, because I heard comments like, "Yeah, you'll get your what like basically saying you'll get your revenge in the ring, basically." So to me, it just feels like it was a bad decision by the promotion in general, because that situation in the first place shouldn't have happened. After the altercation happened, whether it was a pre-planned thing for Roger Jackson to be in the ring as part of a surprise thing, a surprise guest, after the altercation took place outside, they shouldn't have allowed it to go forward. And it seems like that's why I'm not. This is not my opinion. The videos are online, but according to the wrestler who was separating Roger Jackson from the dude, like the wrestler who he was trying to basically murder with his hands. Um, it seems like the promotion is trying to cover this whole situation up, um, which is kind of weird for me. FJ Super, his Chad rage baited him and called him names about it. Agreed. Raja said himself he don't play that shit. Yeah. So to be honest, it was kind of the promotion's fault. Like in that situation, emotions are already high. Like why would you put those people not just in a, if it was in a civil situation, like let's say for example both of them came to just watch the fight, cool, maybe you can separate them and have security around, just, and of course maybe it's a small promotion, maybe they don't have the budget for that, who knows, but at the very least put a couple of wrestlers between them and just make sure that there's some type of a separation and there's not going to be um, any interaction between the both of them. The mere fact that the promotion took the decision to say, you know what, let's make him a part of the wrestling match, I think that was one of the most stupidest decisions they could have made, which now makes a little bit more sense why they're trying to cover it up. Because ultimately, to be honest, they are partially at fault for what happened. I think them them putting him in the match as a surprise guest or whatever the case is, this is basically from what I gather. What I'm saying might not be as accurate, right? Because I haven't been following the story that much. My brother doesn't even watch UFC that much. He's the one who actually came to me with the story, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." Right? So I just felt like I needed to comment on it. So let's get to whether or not he's going to get away with it. I genuinely feel like, so in South Africa, for example, I'm going to give my opinion. This is not legal advice or anything like that, guys. Like, don't quote me and say I said this. Um, so in South Africa, when specifically, I deal with divorce cases, right? So I haven't done enough criminal law in order to have like proper in depth um, analysis or other knowledge as far as practice goes. But to my knowledge, the law to some extent, obviously, the United States and South Africa have a lot of similarities as far as the law goes. In South Africa, retaliation is a valid legal defense, right? Provided the retaliation, or rather, yeah, basically the retaliation was immediate and it wasn't disproportionate to the attack. So basically, what that means is, I would have to, because I read this a long time ago. I would need to double check this. Um, so what that basically means is, if I slap you and then you slap me back, that's basically more or less, to some extent, defensible. You know, I still need, like, I need to put a disclaimer. I still need to research this because I read this a long time ago. So if I slap you and you slap me back, That's defensible. Even if you open a case, it's probably not going to go anywhere. Obviously, it's going to get to a judge, and then it was like, okay, but you slapped him as well, right? So there are certain situations that if you react based on a certain situation, then to some extent it might be defensible. The issue comes in this particular situation that this guy allowed himself to, or rather, that Raja Jackson allowed himself to be assaulted and he didn't react. So, because there was a break in between his reaction and the attack, then I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult to actually prove that it was a retaliation. Not difficult to prove because there's evidence, but um, retaliation normally requires you to act instantly, right? And even if he acted instantly, to be honest, I feel like rather his reaction was too aggressive compared to the initial attack. So someone cannot slap you and then you come with a gun and then you're like boof boof. Or like this guy slapped me, so I had to retaliate. That's not going to fly in court, right? So what he did was disproportional to what was done to him. So that's another problem that is going to appear. But the main thing here is that we are not going to skip over the fact that Roger Jackson was assaulted as well, right? So even if even if Roger Jackson, a case is opened against Roger Jackson, if for example, if I was representing him, I don't know if I should say this. Okay, but I mean, I'm not representing him, so like, I mean, um, by the way, I'm not yet an admitted attorney, so. But if I was the one who was representing him, what I would basically do is number one, open a case for assault. This sounds so terrible, man. I guess that's why that's why people don't like people in the legal field. So, one of the best ways to actually defend yourself would be for Roger Jackson to say, "Well, I admit what I said, or rather, what I did was wrong. However, I was still assaulted as well because hitting him over the head with a can is still assault, right? So Roger Jackson could potentially open an assault case as well, even though his case might be attempted murder or whatever the case is. Roger Jackson could open a counter case for assault. And I don't know how the law works in the United States, but basically in South Africa, that would be the situation. There's evidence. It's not even disputable that he was assaulted. And the worst part is he was assaulted first. So that we could see a situation where both of them go to prison, right? So that's one of the things that make me feel like he might get away with it. Because in this situation, I I could see I could see a situation where Rampage Jackson pays this guy a bit of money or a lot of money, and basically they both agree, you know what, we did something to each other, even though what you did was worse, but at the very least I got something from it. So what we're going to do is you give me money for the fact that you went overboard. You don't open a case against me, I don't open a case against you. So that's one of the things that make me feel like he potentially might get away with it. One, I think Rampage Jackson will probably pay this guy a bit of money. Two, Roger Jackson might have like a solid assault case as well. He was assaulted. Like that goes without saying. Unfortunately, he was assaulted initially. He was assaulted, and it shows. The reaction shows that it wasn't like a friend, or even if it was a friend, dude. Like you don't just do something like that to someone and out of nowhere, unprovoked. So to be honest, both of them could go to prison, right? Obviously, Roger Jackson maybe might get life, and the other guy probably might get a lesser sentence. But there's a high probability if both of them pursue this, they will probably both end up in prison. right? Potentially, right? I don't know how the legal system in the United States works. I'm going to respond to you guys, all of you guys. But yeah, that's basically my view of it. And I saw that the WWE has pulled out of that particular promotion. Maybe their support, maybe they were getting support of some sort from the WWE. But there are so many people that are involved in this mistake happening. Not even mistake, whatever this is happening, that it's gonna be very challenging to definitively say he's going to go to prison for life or forever. But I guess we'll see as time progresses. But number one, the promotion itself for allowing this situation to happen, it's like people have an altercation outside, and you're like, okay, it looks like a good idea to put them in the ring together. That was one of the most stupidest decisions ever. Number one, the promotion itself. I'm not sure about the validity or the accuracy of this information. I've heard this from other people online, so you would have to double check this information because from my understanding, it was pre-planned or that Roger's going to be part of the match. So if that was the case, then it was a stupid decision that's going to cost them a lot because Psycho what I forgot his name. Psycho something. He could sue that particular promotion, to be honest. Number two, Roger Jackson was initially assaulted, and he could open an assault case. Unfortunately, for this psycho dude who was basically almost killed. And then, lastly, I can almost guarantee you that he's gonna be paid to not pursue this matter further. And if the person who was assaulted is not prepared to do anything about the case, then nothing to be honest is going to happen. Ultimately, they can't force him to do anything with it. So yeah, I feel like I've said a lot without saying anything. I, I should have just kept my opinion to myself. I should have just kept my opinion to myself. I feel like I've been speaking, but I don't feel like I've said anything. Um, F. Chase Hooper agreed. Roger said himself, I don't play that hit. F. Chase Hooper, also terrible job from the promotion handling the situation when Roger was beating that unconscious dude. It was also one of the craziest things I've ever watched because I'm looking at the referee and he's like, okay, like he's still acting like it's a pro wrestling fight. Like no, no, stop that. Like the fuck, dude, someone is about to die. Like why are you like he to him? So that's why I'm inclined to believe that he was part of the surprise act for that particular situation. Like I said, I didn't go too deep into this particular situation. That video was also very disturbing to watch. But still, like from what I understand, he was supposed to be a part of that. So now, looking at that video and realizing that the referee was like cool with some dude almost dying, to me, it looks like he might have thought that this was part of the 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 plan. Basically, it was part of the story or the storyline. It's going to look a little bit more brutal than normal. In order, I don't know, but the lack of reaction, the lack of reaction from everyone. Let's. I mean, initially it's understandable, right? Like the first initial blows, but that guy was going to town. Like he was not stopping anytime soon. After maybe like four punches, you're like, okay, this is a kind of serious. And it took too long for them to stop that. Um, it looks bad, man. It looks bad, and I think it's kind of sad that the situation turned out like this. Uh, it's kind of sad that the situation turned out like this. But like I said, that's a positive. If one side decides to pursue criminal charges, the other side might do the same thing. The other guy might, if the other guy is saying, "Well, you nearly killed me," and then the other guy can say, "Well, unprovoked, you assaulted me." Unfortunately, that's the situation, and both of them could potentially go to prison. FJ Super, like nobody stepped in until like 17 to 20 strikes were already landed. Yeah, that's why it was so hard to watch that video. I told my brother that I don't feel like there's any excuse for what that dude did. Everything that I just said now is how I think the situation is going to play out. I think his reaction was messed up. I'm not gonna lie to you. The initial the initial hit of the can to the head would have infuriated me, but I think I've learned how to control my emotions over the years. That it would take a lot, especially because I'm in the legal field. So I know that the law will probably be a little bit more harsh on me because they're like, dude, you knew you were not supposed to do that. So I don't know, man. But seeing someone hit him over the head with a can, like I'm not gonna lie to you, it infuriated me. I don't wanna lie. It's kind of crazy that he didn't react immediately, but the reaction also shows lack of compassion or empathy. There's a difference between establishing, or rather standing your ground and defending yourself, and just being plain insane. And I feel like the dude should not even be an MMA fighter, to be honest. If he somehow gets away with this, I think he's going to be a very dangerous person to be roaming around. Once you've been humiliated, and if it hurt you enough, you remove yourself from that situation. That's one of the easiest things you can do for yourself. The fact that after that incident happens, that's why I feel like a lot of the blame will go. This is only if this is only if the promotion actually went ahead and made this a part of the match, made him a part of the match. Because a part of me is like, and also I don't know if he was being paid for that or not. So if he was being paid, I mean, like, why would you say no to a payday, right? But I feel like that situation should have never happened. If it was already scheduled, they could have rescheduled it. They could have been like, okay, we'll do it on another event or whatever the case is, and not the push for that to happen on that particular day. Because, man. So in that situation, to be honest, if I was his team, I would have been like, dude, are you sure you're good? And whoever was recording him, he should have said, dude, like, let's go, let's just bounce. So it just feels like people are living in this world where there's no accountability for their actions. And it's not just him, people in general feel like somehow the world functions without any consequences, right? Obviously, there's so much corruption in the world that people feel like they can live without consequences, especially if you come from, I wouldn't say wealthy, but maybe an okay family. I don't know Rampage Jackson's pockets, but I would assume he has maybe a couple of, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So for me personally, man, I feel like to get to the point whereby you get that angry, like the level of anger that he was expressing, I think I would express. The only time I would ever see myself seeing red like that is if something really, really horrible happened. Right? You have to weigh your options. Are you prepared to go to prison for life for that? That's how I make my decisions. Every time I make a decision, I'm like, is this worth going to prison? If not, then just leave it. Like people will get into a fight for or someone bumped me on the street. Cool, it's fine. Like you can do whatever you want, but the question that you should also always ask yourself is this worth going to prison for? Like if for example someone assaulted my niece, I think that would be when I'd be like, I don't want to go to prison, but you know what, maybe it's worth it, There are certain things that I would tell myself, well, you know what, I don't know if I want to suffer in prison, but I don't know if I'm going to let this go. There are certain situations that you're like, you stepped on my foot, you pushed me, you did this. I'm not going to go to prison because someone pushed me or someone said F you or insulted some. Like, there are certain degrees that I feel like you shouldn't even be mad at some things. And I get that he was humiliated, but the fact that he didn't respond immediately, I think that shows a high level of restraint. But at the same time, it shows that he's easily manipulated. Because if you were able to restrain yourself that much, and then you are made to react by people just commenting, it's kind of a weird situation. Because clearly the guy has restrained, but it feels like he has a weak mind. I don't know, man. Is it a weak mind though? I don't think it. I don't know, man. Cause the thing that perplexes me is that he was able to nod in the moment because that's if there's any time for him that would have been justified to react, not how he reacted, but the justification in reaction should have been immediately when that happened. The mere fact that he didn't react in that situation tells me there's self restraint somewhere. But after after being told how stupid he is and all these type of things, he reacts. So I don't know. Maybe there's self restraint, but there's also a weak mind. I guess I didn't want to say he has a weak mind, but I mean it clearly seems like if you tell him you can't jump off a tall like a tall building, he'll be like, "You want to bet?" And then he dies. It just feels like that's the kind of person he is. Alpha tips. Thoughts on Kyle versus Imavov being 50-50 in betting odds? I think rightfully so. Imavov Imavov is better on the feet. The Baralho might be a little bit better on the ground. But the thing that made me pick Imavov, I'm going to break down fights next week, guys. The thing that made me pick Imavov is that I think Imavov might be a little bit better defensively and a little bit offensively. Not, not better, but I think he's competent enough on the ground to avoid any wrestling threats from Kayo. Kayo is not good anyway. He just knows how to mix up everything. I wouldn't call Kayo a striker. He's not that good at striking. I wouldn't call Kayo a grappler. He's not that great at grappling. So I think Kayo is one of the best examples of an MMA fighter. Like, it doesn't seem like he's good at anything. He just mixes it up really well. Like, if he's fighting a grappler, he knows how to strike. Yeah, he knows how to strike. If he's fighting a striker, he knows how to grapple. If he's fighting someone like Imavov, most likely his best path to victory will probably be through grappling, which I don't think he's going to have a lot of success in. But I would have to do a little bit more research in order to have a clearer analysis of the fight. But yeah, which is kind of crazy. We watch MMA and we see people getting knocked out all the time, and people think we are barbaric to some extent, but it's also kind of hard. I also laughed at myself. I was like, dude, I watch people get knocked out every single time, or rather every week, but it was difficult for me to watch that video. So clearly, I love this as a sport, not anything beyond that. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I picked Imavov. I think Imavov is way better on the feet. On the ground, I think he's good enough defensively to avoid anything that Caio Baralho might want to do, especially now that Hamza is the champion. I mean, if you can't out like defend the takedowns from Baralho, then I mean, you clearly don't deserve a title shot, right? So I generally do think that Imavov will probably be a little bit better, especially after knocking out Israel Adesanya. Baralho seems like the kind of guy who's going to go to a decision with Israel. I don't think, unless he submits him. So yeah, I think the odds are rightfully supposed to be 50-50, but I think Imavov actually takes this one. Alpha Tips, the wrestler who hit him with the can, was it was a fake can. It's still assault, right? Let's say it was a fake can. He still slapped him to some extent, and water came out. Like even if it wasn't beer, that's still assault, though. Like if I come to you and I slap you, it's still assault. um, Alpha Tips wrestler thought with the camera on they were doing a show or something, but that's kind of that's kind of stupid. How are you doing a show with someone you don't know? Like you at least even if there's going to be a show, eh, like so that guy goes on the streets and says anyone who has a camera, he's going to slap them with a can, with a fake can. Doesn't make sense. Like if you work in WWE, you don't just attack anyone in the audience because they have a camera and you're like, I thought we were working. Like what kind of I think he was a bit of an asshole to some extent as well for doing that because I mean that's not a good reason to do what he did to him. You can't just you don't know that person. Like what if that person was on the verge of dying and then when after you use the can they collapse and die? Like you don't know them, you don't know their medical condition. What if he was disabled and you just hit a disabled person with a can? Like it's kind of crazy. Like you can't say we're working and you don't even know that person. How are you working with me and you don't even know me? What if I have a knife and after you do that I'm like okay cool let's go. So that's kind of a stupid. That's kind of a stupid reason to actually do that. Doesn't justify the reaction, but still, it's a stupid reason to say, "Oh well, I saw the camera and I thought I need to hit the stranger." Like, is that how it works? Like anyone who has a camera, even if you don't know them, you are going to just assault them because there's a camera. Alpha tips. That's what I didn't realize till a day ago. That's what makes it so effed up. Um, but it didn't do anything. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that he didn't react in the moment. F Chase Hooper, yeah, he even said you gonna sell it. After he hit him with the can. Yeah, that's crazy, man. F Chase Hooper just faced um just fake wrestling gimmick crap. I hear you, but man, it was unprovoked. I feel like obviously the other guy might be able to not even do prison time because it's not as serious what he did. But once again, he did assault him too. Sorry, I have flu, guys. Shot McGee, what up, my guy? The promotion needs to be investigated. People need to be arrested, and that includes Raja. I agree with that. I don't know if it's going to happen. Even if he does get arrested, I don't feel like it's going to be that long because ultimately you also need to remember fine, Raja gets arrested. The guy really doesn't get much from it. So are you telling me this guy is going to reject the money and be like, you know what? I don't want the 300,000. I want this guy to go to prison. I don't think that's going to happen. If they offer him enough money, he's going to be like, you know what? I started it. I got money from this. Let's just settle. So the probability is Rampage Jackson is going to be the first one there. They are going to offer him money, settle the matter, and then it's going to be over. Especially because the promotion itself also seems like, according to the wrestler who actually pulled Raja Jackson away, it seems like the promotion is also trying to cover this whole thing up. This is not my words. Go watch the interview of the guy who says the promotion is trying to cover it up. These are not my words, guys. So don't come for me. So the mere fact that the promotion is involved, and as well, I mean, Rampage Jackson clearly doesn't want his son to go to prison. I think both of them can combine heads because the promotion also will definitely be in a lot of trouble. Like this guy can sue them and close that whole promotion potentially. So I mean, I think Rampage and the promotion need to sit down and be like, you know what, let's maybe give him a million and see if this can't be a settlement. And that's going to be the negotiation. Yo, this is what we have. How much do you want? And then they are going to settle it. Because well, the difference is this guy is not, did not die, right? If he had passed away, then it was definitely he was going to go to prison. Raja Jackson, because the guy's still alive. I think money is going to influence a lot of things. I don't think this guy is going to be like, yeah, if he goes to prison, then I'll be fine. I don't want money. And especially because I mean, he can't sue Raja Jackson. Like, Raja Jackson doesn't have anything. So the only people he can sue is probably going to be the promotion for not doing for not doing enough to prevent any further damage. Like, and apart from that, from preventing the situation from happening, um, it's what do they call it? I don't know, but South African laws are different, but they didn't provide a safe working environment. But also, it's a pro wrestling. Um, I don't know the conditions, but I would assume that they will probably get sued for endangering their employees or whatever the case is. So the easiest thing would be like Rampage. Give him 500,000. We'll give him 500,000. Let's offer him a million. And he drops everything, doesn't do anything, and that's why it seems like everyone is being told to keep it on the low, on the low. Don't talk to the police. Once again, go watch the interview of the guy from that wrestling promotion who separated them. These are not my words. Apparently, they are telling people who are there to not speak to the police and stuff like that. So already, like I feel like my theory might actually be more accurate. I think money is going to speak here. FJ Super. The question is, will it go down as attempted murder? That's the thing, though. I think there are so many elements involved. The fact that he was initially assaulted, the fact that the interference in the fight was somehow planned, was part of the plan. So there are so many elements around it that, but because of the popularity of the story, ultimately, um, law enforcers are human beings, so they can be swayed by public opinion, especially if the representatives are not good at their jobs, right? So there is a situation where it could be seen as attempted murder, but he could defend himself and say, well, number one, even though I was assaulted, I was told I can get my revenge. My intention, no, the video looks bad, man. The video looks bad. It looks bad. I think it's probably going to be attempted murder. The mere fact that it it was difficult. I could see how I've never met Raja Jackson, but I could see how strong he is based off of the fact that it was difficult to remove him from that guy. Like you can see that that guy was trying to kill him. Maybe there was no intention to do it, but his actions his actions seem like they were trying to kill him, right? So so yeah, sadly, I think a case for attempted murder might actually be possible. I think the mere fact that they had to pull him, and it took more than one person to actually do it. I think it's going to be difficult for him to say it wasn't. I wasn't trying to kill him, right? Because number one, if ever that was the case, then he would have easily got up when they were trying to stop him. But they tried to stop him, and then he refused and went back to punching him. And then I think I can't remember the actual video. I'm not going to watch it again, but still, it took a lot of effort to remove him from there. Like it wasn't like, "Yo, dude, stop," and he was like, "Okay, cool, I'm sorry." It looks like he was trying to kill him. Shoshat McGee, what a setup. Raja did get set up, but he is 25 and needs to be responsible for his actions. I agree. FJ Super, I'm not a law expert, but isn't 20 unanswered strikes on an unconscious man considered attempted murder? Yeah, it is. It is, and I think for at the very least from my standpoint, I think there would have been a way to say it wasn't attempted murder had he not refused to get up when they were trying to get him up. Like he could have. Okay, let me not even try to defend that. But there are ways that you could have actually found. The problem is he was refusing to get up. So clearly that means he wasn't done doing what he wanted to do. Um, I wish I would have sat down and researched this case, but I knew there wouldn't be a lot of people watching. But yeah, maybe in future I'll start doing a little bit more research and coming up with like proper case. But I feel like I'm going to bore you guys if I, like I said, I focus mainly on civil law and divorce, specifically family law. So I don't know enough about criminal law. I need to research it before I get into it. I've never practiced criminal law, but obviously I studied criminal law a little bit in school, in university. Um, but yeah, there are some few things that I feel like in this particular situation, I think the worst thing out of all this situation is that they had to pull him off of this guy and he was refusing. So to me, from I know there are juries in the United States, so objectively, that means to me you were not done with what you were doing. Clearly, the guy is unconscious. You got your revenge. But if they are trying to pull you off and you are refusing and you are going back, clearly you're not done, right? So to avoid the attempted murder charge, I don't know if I don't know if it's going to avoid. I thought. Let me not even go there. Shoshot McGee. Raja shakes his hand and then Saka punches him like a ghetto clown. FJ Super, the wrestler, apologized and they both said it was cool. That's the sad part about this. Yeah, I think that's what's going to work against him if this in fact ends up going to court. FJ Super, the promotion shouldn't have said anything about the payback because Raja is an MMA fighter and doesn't do that pro wrestling crap. That's why I'm like I think the promotion is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Shoshat McGee, Raja sneak attack Jackson. FJ Super, interactions between them should have been limited. I generally feel like there should have been none. At least after that incident, I think there should have been none, man. There should have been none. Um, but once again, I mean, if it seems like they fixed it, I can get where the promotion was coming from. They're like, okay, it seems like they apologized, they're good. I don't know. Shoshot McGee is just as much the promotion's fault as it is Raja's. I agree. Raja and the promotion need hard time. The promotion is probably going to pay. Zin, he started it, yeah, but the reaction was disproportional. You can't justify that reaction with, oh, he started it. So I slapped you, so you're going to stab me. It doesn't work that way. FJ Super, I'm utterly infuriated by the way Twitter is reacting to this. Just proves how far society is going down in the drain. I haven't seen the reaction online. I wonder what they're saying. Shoshot McGee, Zin has sore morals. As in, he was being racially aggressive towards Raja. Yeah, a part of me thought the same thing, but still, my brother also raised something to that effect. Like some people are saying it might have been a racial thing. I'm like, even if he called him a nigger, to go from that to nearly killing someone is crazy. I think it's crazy. Like knock him out. Even knocking him out is honestly terrible. But at least land one punch and go, dude. Like especially because you know you are an MMA fighter. This guy can't do anything to you. So for you to want to take it that far, like man, like he's a professional fighter. Even if that guy said, "I hate you, nigga," and then smashed him over the head with a can, like I said, I would have been flipping mad, like really angry. But that reaction, man, I don't think he understands consequences, and unfortunately, he's probably going to learn it the hard way for him. But even if it was racially driven, like the initial interaction, that response, you don't kill someone for that because he was trying to do that. FJ Super, you got racism, people justifying what Raja did, etc. Like I said, even if it was racism, you can't react like that, my guy. Like you can't react like that to even if he said the N word, like you can't react like that. You can't. Zin, nah, bro. That's what his lawyer is gonna say. To be honest, if I was his lawyer, I'd be like, dude, like sell everything. If Rampage Jackson, the promotion, I combine them together. I'm like, sit down, guys. How much do you have? Like, like literally, how much do you have? And then we start off like, if they have 5 million, we're like, okay, cool. Let's go to the table with 1 million. I'll be like, dude, we acknowledge we did this and we were wrong. You also assaulted him. He wants to press charges. He probably will be in a worse situation than you. You might not even get prison time, right? But in order to avoid all of that, I mean, he goes to prison. You don't get anything. How about we let bygones be bygones? You hit him. He hit you. Maybe two worse. And in order to compensate for the disproportionality, how about we give you 1 million and we let this all slide? Like Raja shouldn't fight. Like in this situation, don't. even getting lawyers is not like get someone who's going to mediate the situation, and obviously a lawyer who's going to aim to settle. But at the very least, that's what I was going to do in the situation. There's too much evidence and there's too much public pressure or public um, in, in interactions. Like there's so many things that are involved in this particular case. There's no way he doesn't go to prison. There's no way, and there's no way he doesn't go to prison for a very long time. There's no reason to fight. Like the only thing he needs to do right now is to try to settle. Like go to him, offer him money, and that's hopefully going to be better than this guy going to prison. F. Chase Hooper, people using this as an anti-black propaganda. I mean, racism does exist, but in at the very least, I wouldn't kill anyone for being racist to me. You know, I've like a lot of people have been racist to me. Like, I'm not gonna kill anyone for it. Obviously, maybe the difference is he assaulted him. Still, if and the situation is also different. Like, if someone comes up to me and slaps me and calls me a word, maybe I don't know how I'll react. But if we are in a wrestling area or a backstage, and then someone racist comes up to me and then does that, and then I don't know, man. I think I'll be a little bit more forgiving in that situation. I'll still be mad, but knowing I can literally do what I want with this guy as a professional fighter, that's why you need emotional stability when you are a professional fighter, or if you have a gun, right? I think the same things apply because you are a weapon yourself. So sometimes maybe these gyms, these MMA or training gyms, shouldn't be focusing too much on money. And I get that maybe that's unfair to actually put it on them. But you are basically training someone to become a weapon. And you might be training someone with lack of self control. Right? That person is going to do what Raja Jackson did. So I think for me, becoming an MMA fighter is similar to trying to get a gun. To some extent, that there should be a level of self control or some way to determine that you have some level of self control and you have no history of doing messed up things. I don't know, man, but I wouldn't kill anyone for being racist to me, to be honest. Um, that's I think that's not a justification. Racism is messed up and it sucks. I've experienced it a lot. Not just like someone calling you a name is different. Someone refusing to give you an opportunity that you know you qualified for, that hurts a lot more than someone texting or telling you like you calling you derogatory names. That's a little bit more different than like someone costing you money because of racism. So I don't think that's a good reason to react that way, even if it was racism, and we can't really prove it was racism actually. Um, Even though I mean, like I don't think he said anything derogatory. It was just a reaction, or rather, he just behaved like an inconsiderate asshole, basically, um, by beating him on the head with a can. There's no way to prove that that was a racist act. Maybe it was, but unless if I missed something and that guy was like, "Yo, nigga, what up?" and then he hit him on the side of the head, then I would be like, "Okay, yeah, that was racism." But if you are inferring purely from the fact that he smashed him with a can, that's it. Potentially, it could be, but you can't just say out of unless if you know his background, and even if he is like normally a racist person, then why are you going in environments like that, like with racist people? Anyway, Joshua McGee, take Zin to the rooftop. Zin, Manyan Ngannou should be in jail if anyone. Who's that? Um, FJ Super, but the wrestler was never racially aggressive. Where's your proof, Zin? You proved my point. Okay, yeah, that's basically the point I was trying to make. Ngannou, there's no involvement in this. Bro is trolling. I agree. Shoshat McGee, Zin is lost in the woods. FJ Super, some people become animalistic and unaware of what they are doing in the moment. The huge lack of impulse control and anger. I think that's something that you need to train yourself, or at the very least, you need to be aware of it and actually practice train. Like, it's very important to know who you are and how you react in certain situations. So, for me personally, over the years, I've made sure that I train myself to avoid conflict as much as possible. So, to me, I give myself a certain level of tolerance. I always try to disengage and avoid. If I'm going to engage, is if you started, right? But at the same time, I'm going to only engage enough to restrain you. Maybe I might hurt you a little bit, but the goal will be to restrain you and maybe call the police. Even with a gun, I think I don't. Maybe eventually I would eventually like to own a gun. Even with a gun, I'm the type of person who probably shoot your leg before I try to like aim for your chest. I would much rather fire 5 shots to your leg to make sure you don't get away, or five like on as long as you're not going anywhere, as long as I'm not gonna kill you, right? So that's how I view things. If God forbid anything angers me to a point whereby I I black out, I don't know, man. That's one of the other reasons why I like being by myself. Um, I'm I'm an introvert, right? If you don't interact with a lot of people, if you don't have a lot of friends, you avoid situations. I don't party. You would never see me go into a party or anything. So obviously that kills my social skills to some extent. Still think my social skills are still pretty good. My work as well forces me to interact with different people. Um, Clients and everything, even the business, and obviously this particular channel has helped because I was really, really, really shy. Like it's kind of crazy that I'm able to even talk for this many hours on a stream. So I used to be very shy. Even public speaking would have terrified me, and now look at me talking for nearly an hour. Like let alone watch alongs where I interact and reply to like 1,000 comments. Right. So you need to know yourself, learn yourself, especially qualities that might get you in trouble. I think that's the responsibility of every human being. You need to know yourself and make sure that you prepare yourself for yourself. Like you need to be able to say, you know what, I know myself in certain situation I react like this because you might be online but in judging this guy and then you find your girlfriend in bed with another guy and then you murder them, and then you're like, but that situation was different. How was it different? So you need to prepare yourself mentally for any situation, right? Even if you find someone with your woman, even if you are married and you find that person has been cheated, the people who end up killing other people are those who believe in every human being to the point whereby they don't think that certain things will happen, and that's when you do stupid things. You're like, oh my god, you don't know how to react because you don't believe that's possible. So for me, man, even though I don't believe the person I'm with would ever do anything that crazy, I put the disappointment at the front of my head in every situation so that I'm able to cope with it. If if you're like, okay, this person is my everything, and then you find them in bed with someone else, a lot of people will take out a gun and or a knife or whatever the case is, right? For me, it's gonna hurt, but I'm going to be like, you know what? I probably have options. That's one of the reasons why I want to be in a polygamous marriage, right? I'm veering off the topic, but the point I'm trying to make is that you need to prepare yourself for every sort of situation that might happen, so that you don't react in a stupid way. Because you might say this guy acted stupid here, and then you find yourself in a weird situation, and you react the same way, or worse. That's why I'm like, all the people who are saying this guy is stupid and all these type of things. What's going to happen if you find your wife with another dude in your bed? Like, like you're probably going to do what he did. So sometimes train yourself, know yourself and how you're going to react in certain situations, and that's something that you need to do for years. It's not something you're going to do in one day or one month. You need to do that because you're preparing your mind for something that might not potentially happen. But the situation is that you need to know that no matter what the situation is, I'm going to disengage and find an alternative to punish them. Fortunately, I'm in the legal field. If I get into a situation whereby I'm like, I wish I could beat this person up, I'll probably maybe find a way to get evidence and try to get my revenge the legal way. Suing people, even if they're broke, you own them. So you take their house, you take whatever they have, right? So if someone angers you enough for you to want to fight them, they probably did something terrible. So you learn to control yourself and find other ways to actually get your revenge. But yeah, I do agree that what he did was pretty stupid. But I think most people will probably react similar in different or rather in similar situations. He might have been embarrassed. You might be hurt by something that happened to you. So yeah. FJ Hooper Raja has major issues. Dude needs to be locked away. Okay, I agree. Zin. Raja got pushed by his chat, and his father kept teasing him. We can't use that as a reason for him to behave the way he did. Raja lost his mom in a tragic death. Imagine having Rampage as a dad. His net worth is almost 50 million. Okay, he has enough money to actually bail him out of this. Shoshot McGee, Raja is 25 blood. My dad left. Should I go crash out? FJ Super. Dude, imagine being so dumb that you let a bunch of 12-year-olds rage you into that anger. It's crazy, man. Zin, you guys are right. FJ Super, Slugfest dealt with so much shit on the channel, still kept his cool. Yeah, man. Like, there's there's there are some things that are not worth it. Like, there are some things that are not worth it, and a lot of people act stupid, and they don't realize that they act stupid, especially when. That's why I use the female as an example. Like, so for example, let's say you are with someone like whether it's your wife or whatever, and then you bump into someone by mistake, and then you say sorry, and then that person says "f you're sorry." A lot of people will turn around and try to fight, but the question is, are you willing to go to prison for that? I'm not. I'm going to be like, okay, cool, my bad, my guy. So unless he tries to punch me, that is a different story. And like I always say, if I can restrain you, I'm going to restrain you. And restraining obviously is going to require me to, at the very least, knock you out or punch you or do something to make sure that I can get control of you, and then find a way to get someone else involved, like maybe calling the police while I'm holding you. I don't I've told myself I'm not going to fight anyone unless I don't have a choice, right? The only time you'll ever see me fight, if you ever hear me, or if you ever hear news of me fighting, just know that I didn't have a choice. If I have a choice, I'm probably going to try my level best to make sure that I disarm you. Meaning, I'm going to try to hold you. Most people don't know how to wrestle, even though I don't think I'm great at wrestling. I'm very good at absorbing what I see. That's that's how I taught myself how to speak. A lot of people think I went to a multiracial school, but I didn't. I taught this like from just I learned this just from listening to music and everything like that. The point is I'm able to absorb. So in certain situations, I'm probably going to try to just take you down, maybe get you in a crucifix and try to call the police or something like that. Right? Most people generally don't know how to fight. They expect you to stay on the feet. Right? So you just take that person down, hold them there, call someone. If you can't hold them down, then you have to beat them until at the very least you can control them somehow. Like there's no other way. So for me, I try to disengage as much as possible. So shout out to you, FJ's Hooper, for noticing that. But yeah, that's what I do, man. I avoid conflict at all costs. I'm going to fight if I don't have a choice. I'm not going to actively seek out a fight. Even if it's there, I'm not going to engage until I don't have a choice. That's when I'm going to actually fight. Raja for the child Jackson. That's crazy. That's a good name. Raja for the child Jackson. Wow. Nora Shy. Raja is innocent. Okay, dude. He's not innocent, but okay. FJ Super. Raja just threw his life away. Dude had everything going for him. Did he though? I don't know enough about the dude. The Zin Raja met his father goes to gay club. Narashe, people forget how this like they always forget about things and he'll be streaming again. Provided his father and the promotion pay that other guy, otherwise he's going to prison. FJ Super, not if Raja is in jail for at least a decade, yeah. I mean, if they don't pay that guy, then he's not going to be streaming anytime soon. Shoshan McGee, he will not do a decade. This is LA. We're talking about probably 5 years at most, yeah. Norashe, Imavov has better striking. I'm probably Imavov by decision. I don't know, but we'll see. F Chase Hooper. Everyone probably will forget about this because people have low attention spans nowadays. Provided they pay, man. I think he's going to prison if no one pays him. Spence, not actually. I'll take him off of a point spread. Yeah, I think he wins, man. FJ Hooper, I was leaning him off, but now I'm on the fence. What caused you to be on the fence? Shoshat McGee, Kayo has fought nobody. Um, Gerard is the best win almost 2 years ago. I agree. FJ Hooper, he got rocked by Jared too. Yeah. Kyle probably KO'd him in the fifth, but still went to a decision. Shoshat McGee, he is just so unproven, and I haven't seen a single thing to pick Kyle. Me too. Not actually, one of the fighting nerds is going to lose on this card. Maybe both, to be honest. Who's the other fighting nerd? I forgot. Who's the other one apart from Kyle? Not actually, I have a feeling Rufi. Oh, Rufi, I forgot. Yes, Rufi might not. It's not going to lose. Benoit St. Dennis is not that great, man. I have a feeling Rufi might get KO'd. So I'm staying away from that fight. I mean, St. Dennis is not that good, man. FJ Super, we haven't seen any good takedown defense from Rufi, so it's risky. Oh, okay, I didn't consider that. But we'll talk. We'll talk when I break down the fight, though. FJ Super BSD should get counted easily. However, I agree. Sparkwave I'm sure Shot McGee, BSD just plods forward and most likely gets KO'd. BSD is not that great, man. Unfortunately for him, he's not really good, sadly. So I don't see, especially when you look at his, like, he in his last fight he looks how I would assume a 40-year-old looks when he fights. Normally, at the very least in the UFC today, 40-year-olds are fast now. I mean, we saw what happened. Like the past few cards, like what was Tim Elliott came in and upset the Kaya Sakura. So clearly, for the 80-year-old, but again, 40-year-olds are still pretty good. But still, let me say a 50-year-old. That's he fights how I would assume a 50-year-old would fight. BSD is very slow. Like all of his movements are very, they are all telegraphed. At the very least, if I'm going off of his last fight, like I'm not a professional fighter, but there were moments whereby I would be like, I would have probably been able to avoid that. Like, so maybe I'm wrong, but he looks very slow, man. He looks really slow. He doesn't look like he has a lot of skill. Um, Rufi maybe might have a problem with the takedown, but I mean, judging off of Gene Silva's takedown defense, what's his name? Uh, Prates' takedown defense. I would assume that Rufi is also working on his takedown defense, and it's going to be a little bit more challenging to take him down. I think Benoit Saint Dennis, all you need to do is just to survive the first round. Beyond that, I think you'll be good. Benoit Saint Dennis is not that great, and Rufi, Rufi's probably good in the fighting nerds. So far, the only ones that have lost via decision, right? If I'm not mistaken, the main ones. I'm not talking about everyone else who just joined or everyone else who think they are the fighting nerds. So there are only approximately 4 or 5 fighting nerds. Everyone else is just part of the list. It's Mauricio Rufy, Jin Silva, Caio Boralho, and Carlos Prates. Actually, these are the 4 fighting nerds. Everyone else is just a substitution. So Prates is the only one who's lost so far, and he lost via decision to Ian Gary, who is an elite level fighter. Right? Benoit St. Dennis, man, he's not an elite level fighter, my guy. So he's not going to win that one, I doubt. Short McGee, Benoit St. Dennis had GM3 hands last fight. Wow. Wow, that's an insult, man. I feel bad for BSD. Like, how would you? Why would you say something like that? That's crazy. What makes me laugh is also the fact that I was able to get what you were saying. He had them BSD hands. I'm not in the GMD hands. That's an insult. But to be honest, he did, man. Like his hands looked horrible. And GM3 was landing on bread, fake bread. I've never really been a fan of Brett Tavares, but I don't know if the other guy is good enough. But I'll see. Maybe I'll fade my own prediction. Who knows when I eventually do the breakdown. As I always do, because whenever I do breakdowns, that's the only time I'm able to assess whether my pick is correct or not. Shoshat McGee. Some people have two left feet. He got 2 left hands. Yeah, I think BSD is going to get knocked out in France, man. Um, I used to believe in his ability after seeing him lose to Dustin Poirier. I mean, there's no shame in losing to Dustin Poirier, but I mean, losing to Renato Moicano, man, come on. And I know Renato Moicano was on a streak, but come on, man, come on. I mean, that was honestly sad. That was honestly sad because if you are a future champion, you shouldn't be losing to Renato Moicano. Um, uh, Prithvi, yeah, I think I got it right this time. What up, Prithvi? You're finding me late, guy. I'm about to actually end the stream. The next time I'm going to be streaming is next week when I do the breakdowns. I'm so tired. I feel like I've been saying nothing to be honest throughout this whole stream. Final disclaimer, guys. This wasn't legal advice or anything like that. I was just giving my opinion as someone who is a law graduate, works in the legal field, but I didn't do research, and I mainly focus on divorce, civil, and family law. I don't do criminal. So double check everything I say. Don't just take everything I just said and be like, oh, this guy just said this. Prithvi, damn, I just came. I just came home. I mean, like we always have time to talk, my guy. There's going to be breakdowns as always, and there's going to be watch-alongs. Don't say I'm not going anywhere. Um, this channel is going to be here for a very long time. No matter how successful I become, even if I end up becoming a millionaire, a billionaire, I don't think because the reason I started this channel was because I'm a fan of the sport, right? So I don't think that fandom is going to go away. I don't enjoy any other sport, so I'm gonna be here for a very long time. Even if I end up hiring people to do some of the work for me, there will still be core things that I'll still want to do for myself. Like responding to comments, I don't know if I'm ever going to outsource that. Maybe I might outsource it to some extent, but I don't think I'm going to outsource that. I want to respond to you guys personally. Um, Streaming, obviously, I want to do that personally. Maybe the background work, editing, and everything like that. Those are the things that I might hire people for, but I'm not going anywhere, guys. Um, Shoshat McGee, BDS is. Why are you calling him BDS? It's BSD, Benoit Saint Dennis. I know you called him BDS for on purpose just to mess with him. Is to only French guy that will go out on his show do so respect. Yeah, that's true. I'm privileged, yes sir. Guys, I'm so tired. Obviously, as always, the videos will be coming out every single day. But as far as live streams, I'm probably going to see you again next week. I love and appreciate all of you. Until then, deuces.